Hey guys, good morning. So yesterday I was training legs and I was doing some pin squats and they're minging, they're disgusting. So I thought I would film it and I will make use a little video explaining to you what a pin squat is. So if you have never done pin squats are basically a normal back squat where you have the safety pins at each end and you're actually gonna stop at most of the time at the bottom of the squat, and then you're gonna stop there and then you're gonna drive up. Okay, so think of kind of like breaking it into two. And the only way to explain it when you're doing the exercise, one of my clients actually made the reference yesterday, was to think of you're gonna stop on the pins, but you're not gonna bounce off them and you're not gonna fully rest. Okay, you actually just tap in the pins, but you still tension and you're still in control of the bar, and then you're gonna drive up. So it's kind of like when you clutch and it's kind of like when you're using the clutch of the car, that you have the car on an uphill and you're still in control of the car and you have the car there. So you're gonna have that bar and you're still gonna have it strong and solid and engaged, but some of it, you're being stopped by the pins, and then you're gonna drive up. At no point you're disengaging, because if you disengage, you're gonna lose all the tension and you're not gonna be able to get up. Okay. Now they're very challenging. Okay, and they're super efficient at helping you get out of sticking points. Okay, so normally most people fail at the squat at the bottom position because that's normally the hardest. Well, it is the hardest part of a squat. So that lower end of the squat. So the fact that you're training and you're spending more time in that position is gonna make you stronger, and it forces you to generate more force to get out of that and then just get up again. So think of it just like being stuck in a hole and having to get out of the hole. You have to generate so much more force. It's also taking out the stretch reflex, which makes it more challenging. Now, if you think of the stretch reflex are kind of like when you're squatting, you can kind of bounce at the bottom and get back up. So it's like that little bounce, that's the stretch reflex of your muscle trying to help you get up. So when you separate the movement and when you stop at the pins, you eliminate that completely. So you breaking down the movement into two parts. So you break down the eccentric and the concentric, and you have to start from kind of zero and then drive up, which makes it a lot more challenging. Also, because you're breaking the movement into two parts, it allows you to focus on the technique of each. So you're gonna feel your eccentric better and concentrate on improving the technique of your eccentric, and you're also gonna feel your concentric better. This is very, very useful if you have an asymmetric squat. So if you're squatting and you kind of go tilt to one side and tilt to the other one, when you have the safety pins, you can actually feel when you're pinning one side and before the other one. So it helps you kind of balance out that downwards movement to make sure that both are touching the bar at the same time and then driving up from that. And the good thing about this is that so then you're gonna be able to transfer that better technique into your regular squat. And it's also really gonna challenge the amount of effort that you can handle through a set, because by breaking it into two, by forcing you to generate more force, those concentric movements are gonna be so much slower. So you're really gonna have to push hard to get that bar up, which then is gonna make it's gonna set the bar a lot higher when it comes to effort management to your squat. And also, ideally at some point you're gonna fail. So I'm actually gonna upload the video where I'm failing at the squat. And look, I love failing at a squat. I actually couldn't bring my squat up for ages until I actually failed for the first time. And the good thing about failing is that you learn that if you have the safety bars at the right position and you fail, there's actually nothing is gonna go wrong. Okay, so knowing that you can fail and it's gonna be safe, it's gonna clear that doubt out of your mind. Okay, a big part of squatting is just doubt, it's fear, because we're scared of not being able to move the load. So when you have those safety pins, you're not so scared anymore, because you know that if you drop, it's just gonna sit there. So think about when you squat and you have a spotter behind you. Okay, most of the time you don't need a spotter, but just knowing that someone's behind you makes you feel a lot more comfortable, and then you actually get the lift up even if that person doesn't touch you. And when you're by yourself, you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, and you start doubting yourself. So when you're by yourself, and every time, you should always use the safety pins, because it's going to help you build up that confidence that is going to allow you to generate more output and more force. So I'm putting both of the videos, the one that I did correctly and I completed the set, and the one that I did where I failed, just so you can see that it's not the end of the world. And yes, I got a little bit angry because I didn't get as many reps as I wanted to, but that's what training is. You want to train and you want to push hard and you want to get as close to failure as possible, and a lot of times you're going to fail, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking your sets to failure. So go and check them out. They're very hard in terms of In terms of weight, normally about 80-90% of your regular squat weight is a good start. So start with 80, get comfortable to the movement, and then you can push it up to 90%. And in terms of programming, I have them on the same days as my squats. So I will do safety pin squats first, and then I will move on to my regular squats. But the order and the programming and which day you put in is really going to be dependent on your split and what you're trying to achieve. So go check them out. Let me know what you think. And if you got any questions about how to do them and how to structure them in your program better to fit the program that you're following, or if you need a program because you need some help at the gym, just drop me a message and I'm always happy to help.